least traveling to Mexico to do something like that. So congratulations. My name's Josh McKinley. Been a friend of the groom.
The daughter formerly known as the Beans. We wish we could be with you at the beach with sand between our toes and bodies slathered in sunscreen. We're so pleased that you have decided to spend your lives together. You share that special look and glow when you are together. Even Cowboy is having fun. You have our best wishes and blessing. Please extend all these to all celebrating with you. All our love, Mom and Dad.
So at the risk of being way too serious, Kathy and I are really happy that you've chosen to spend your lives together. And Mark, you're a wonderful son. Nora, you're a beautiful person. And we're so looking forward to having you be part of our family. Together, you are a perfect match in our view. God bless you both on this wedding day.
I take you, Nora, to be my best friend, faithful partner, and my one true love. I promise to encourage, inspire, and love you truly through the good times and the bad times. I will forever be there to laugh with you and at you, to lift you up when you are down, and to love you unconditionally through all of our adventures and life together.
I take you, Mark, to be my best friend, my faithful partner, my one true love. I promise to encourage, inspire, and love you truly through the good times and the bad times. I will forever be there to laugh with you, to lift you up when you are down, and to love you unconditionally through all of our adventures in life together.
I give you this ring to wear with love and joy, as this ring has no end, neither shall my love for you. I choose you to be my wife this day and forevermore.
I'm a little swollen from Mexico. I give you this ring to wear with love and joy, as a ring has no end, and neither should my love for you. I choose you to be my husband, this day and forevermore.
Nora and Mark, you've expressed your love to one another through the commitment and promise you have just made. It is with these in mind that I pronounce you husband and wife. Bring out this guy.
It's going down. I'm yelling timber. You better move. You better dance. Let's make a night you won't remember. I'll be the one you won't forget. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Mariah, take another shot. Hold it, drop it like it's hot. Dirty talk, dirty man. She a freaky girl, and I'm a freaky man. She on the rebound, broke up with an ex, and I'm like Rodman, ready on deck. I told her I wanna ride out.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
We didn't go to church.
Great night. Welcome, everybody, and thanks for coming all the way to Mexico for this wedding for two wonderful people. And couldn't be happier for both of them. Mark's older brother, Scott, by 3 years, and here we go. I'll start way back from the beginning. So it all started at our house in Marlborough Court in Minnetonka from ages probably 3 to 8 for me, or 3 to 5 for me, and 5 to 8 for Mark. Just a couple of stories. Hopefully everybody can think these are funny, and Mark might too. But Mark was always very trusting of his older brother, and we did some things. But the first one I can remember is when Mark gladly laid down in the yard when it was the middle of the winter, and we buried him in about 4 feet of snow. No problem, still trusting me. His head was out, of course. And then we decided to, our neighbor and I decided to pour water on top of it and kind of ice him over, and he's still trusting and still just hanging out and trusting his brother, but he was a bit nervous at the end, right? I think I got in big trouble for that, but that was way back. Another one that my mom still cringes at, I think, or both my mom and dad, is probably Mark was 6 or 7 and I was maybe 10 or so. I'll blame it more on the neighbor than myself, but they had the idea to have Mark climb the highest pine tree in the neighborhood. There was a branch every few feet, and he got, higher than the palm trees here, and got stuck. And I think we had to call fire safety or somebody in, and Mom almost had a heart attack, and Dad, I think, tried to get halfway up there and didn't quite make it, but that was right, exactly. So I think I got in big trouble for that one, if I remember right. Anyways, so right. A couple years later, we moved to Terrace Lane in Minnetonka, around the ages of 9 to 13 for me and 5 to 10 for Mark. Continued to do the same brotherly things, wrestling, fighting, arguing, that kind of thing. Still no problem for me to keep control of the wrestling matches. I was still bigger than Mark, right? So that was fine. During these times, Mark and I had a lot of fun times with fireworks, BB guns, slingshots, that kind of thing. I think the frog population went down in our neighborhood big time, but that was good. By the ages of 16 for me and 13 for Mark or so, we continued to wrestle, but I was starting to get nervous about Mark's size, and that he would come and take me, but I would never admit that out loud. Never. This is the first time ever. But anyways, by now there were signs that we were becoming more like friends instead of brothers that argued and maybe didn't want to be around each other all the time. Mark would still hang out with my older group of friends from time to time, and it seemed to work out for everybody. By the ages of about 18 for me and 15 for Mark, I had found out that he and I were closely matched, and I was probably outmatched with wrestling, and Mark was now bigger than me, so that was the last that I would engage with him on that kind of stuff. Well, there was another incident too. This is involved a baseball bag in the basement, and I'll still say, why would the in Mark's baseball bag there was some beer found in there, and I'm gonna still say, if it was mine, why would it be in your bag, right? Anything. So soon after this, I left for college. I never thought I'd feel bothered that I wouldn't see my brother as much, but it happened. Mark visited St. John's a couple times. We didn't see as much of each other during this first few years, but the day came then when Mark decided to join me at St. John's. So we'd have 1 year together. A lot of that was, we had a lot of good times. Mark came to our party house, which was a big party every weekend. Helped us with, he got to hang out in the nice living room with the seniors, which I think you thought was a nice benefit. In exchange, he would go down into the pit of the most disgusting house in the world and put 2 pitchers for beer and clear the sea and fill our pitchers for us and bring us beer. So I think you like that. Maybe you got to check people in the house too, and you had fun with that, right? The freshmen doing that, so. So Mark, and then Mark made it through the last 3 years of college by using the nice path that I paid for him, right? Shortly after that, he moved into my townhome for about 3 years, which was great. He was the best roommate I've ever had. We had a lot of good times hanging out in the evenings. Of course, he did create crazy hours. He was pretty much coming in when I was getting up most nights. It didn't matter if it was during the weekend or during the week. It happened all the time. So several years later, things changed when Nora came around. One day there was a girl we didn't know on a boat that met us out in Big Island. After a lot of prying and digging, we found out that she was there with Mark. This had to be for real, or Mark would never bring somebody around to consider this big change for in his life. We asked him hundreds of times people asked me if Mark would ever get married. Of course, I thought he should, but who would ever knew that would happen? About a year later, Mark and Nora bought a house across the street from us. So you would think now the chances are pretty high that they would get married, but who knows, right? We waited and finally Mark asked Nora to marry him about a year ago, so we were all very excited about that. Nora's very accepting of Mark's teasing of her and has eased him back from his old ways without trying to do so. They now eat dinner at 6 o'clock sharp. Mark gets sleep sometimes, other than this week, and he eats healthy too, right? So Nora's had a lot of great influences on Mark. She also allowed Goose to live with them for a year and a half. I don't know anybody else that would allow that. So Nora's had a lot of good influences on Mark, and we're very excited that she's now part of the family. Thank you, Nora and Cowboy. Mark, I couldn't be more proud to call you my brother. And the same goes for Nora as my new sister-in-law. Thank you.
20 years. We met in high school, and I had originally written a speech about kind of all the shenanigans we used to get into. We met over our love of AC/DC, Chinese fire drills, lots of really silly things like that. And then today, I spent 8 hours with her getting ready and was kind of inspired to take a different turn, so I'm kind of winging this. So while we were getting ready, I was looking at my itinerary and trying to follow it and not ask too many questions about it, because I know that Nora gets very anxious and she gets a little irritated if you're not in the know of what's going on, because she took all this time to organize everything and plan the itinerary schedule. So yes, so if you don't know the schedule, then yeah, don't ask. So I was expecting her all day to kind of be on edge a little bit and kind of be her typical just regimented self. And then there was this moment where I saw her and she just kind of started dancing a little bit, and she just kind of got down and she was like super happy, and I got all emotional because I'm like, this isn't Nora, and I started to cry, and as she's dancing I kind of heard Martin Zeller play in my head, and it's like, she's happy, she's happy, she's happy. And I was obviously very happy about that, and realized that anything that I could say, or any stories that I could tell about who you were and the things that we did, it doesn't matter, because you're still that same person, but you're the better version of yourself. And the reason why you're the better version of yourself is because of Mark. And I didn't think that was something possible, because you're so special to me and you're always the best version of you in my eyes. And I saw that different version today, and I'm just very happy that you have the person that brings the best out of you. Yeah. So, cheers.
Thank you. I'd prefer my name wasn't Todd, but It is, so. And I actually kind of have to pee right now, but I should have taken care of that a while ago. Yes. I'd feel better if I could have a cig up here, but that's probably inappropriate. Hi, everyone. That's written on the paper here. I'm Todd, and I'm one of Mark's 10,000 friends. I've known Mark most of my life. He and I actually met in first grade at Glen Lake Elementary School. And Mark and I have always enjoyed hanging out with each other. When we were younger, we spent most of our time eating snacks, breaking my sister's toys, and then eating more snacks. And, over the years, we've actually matured quite a bit. We've moved on to drinking beers, breaking other people's toys, and then drinking more beers. Mark and I have kept in contact most of our lives, and in college, he would come visit from time to time. I was in Iowa, and there was actually a time where Mark thought it'd be a good idea to come pay me a surprise visit from St. John's, which is 6 hours away. And in the middle of the night, he drove down with a couple guys and got to my apartment, and my roommates told him I was in Madison, Wisconsin for the weekend. And at that point, he just pretty much turned around. Actually, he might have hung out and drank with them for a little bit, but then just went back to St. John's. And that's the kind of friend Mark is. He'll drive 12 hours to hang out with you, even if you're not there. So it goes without saying that Mark has been a staple in my life and my family's life. He's been like an uncle to my son and a brother. Sorry. And a brother, my wife, and I. We became very used to Mark making visits to our house as a single guy. He would come over to have dinner with us, wrestle with my son, and watch the occasional UFC fight. My wife, Andrea, and I would always ask ourselves, I wonder if Mark's going to find a woman. Like, can he be single forever? Eventually, our questions got answered. I heard the name Nora the first time a few years back from Mark when I was dropping him off at his car after a night at Fletcher's. I remember the night, or the discussion well, because we almost got into a fist fight on Highway 7 with a dirtball that was driving a souped-up Honda VTEC. After convincing Mark not to rip this guy's head off, I started asking him if there was anyone that he's been seeing. He said he's been hanging out with this girl named Nora. He said she was really cool and that he had a lot of fun with her. He said that she seems to like him too, and that she kind of indicated that she wanted him to make a move. I believe the actual words were shit or get off the pot, which sounded like pretty good advice to me. It took a little while, but Mark finally decided that we should probably meet Nora. My wife and I were excited and a little bit nervous at the same time. My concern was, what if this Nora girl's a total wet blanket? Do I have to act like I like her? Do I tell Mark to run? Well, fortunately, we could tell right away when we met Nora that we had nothing to worry about. She was normal, fun, straightforward, and totally out of Mark's league. We've gotten to know Mark and Nora as a couple over the last several years, and it's great to see how well they work together. They truly complement each other in a way that nobody can hope for in a marriage. Mark has shown Nora how to act younger than they are, and Nora has shown Mark how to act his age, which I think we can all appreciate. I could carry on for a long time talking about Mark and Nora and how great these two are, but instead I figured I would write a quick poem for them that sums it up. So here it is. There's a well-known man from Minnesota whose name is Mark. He's easy to spot. He's a big guy whose hair is a little bit more red than it is dark. This man hangs out at places his good friends all know. He's usually on the lake, at Fletcher's, or maybe a Las Vegas casino. When you see him out on the town, it truly never fails. He will be as large as life, laughing his ass off and yelling, "Cocktails!" Mark has been single for the first 40 years. His life filled with experience and about 20,000 beers. After many, many years, he finally found his soulmate, a girl named Nora who has happily accepted her fate. Now, Nora isn't just any girl. She's one for the books. She has a beautiful personality, a BMW, and even good looks. Nora likes to laugh, work, ride jet skis, and dine. She also likes to hang out with her dog Cowboy and drink large amounts of red wine. Sorry, I gotta turn the page. Should have thought about that. Shoot. Now when you are out and about, look for this very special pair. Put all your drinks on their tab. I'm pretty sure they won't care. So let us toast to Mark and Nora. When they found each other, they didn't pass. Let's wish them the best in a new life, which will most certainly kick ass.
Oh, hi, you guys. I feel like 90% of you guys, and if you haven't met me yet, I'm Nora's friend from college. So like Carolyn said, we've known each other like 19, 20 years, and I cannot echo anything more than what you just said. She is one of the most, seeing you be this confident is amazing with Mark. I feel like you have really grown into this beautiful woman, but let's not forget when we were 19 and 20, we were like just ridiculous. But I mean, college years, what can you do? But something that has always echoed through her entire life is just dedication. Like when she puts her mind to something, she does it. Am I right, Mark? Okay, so like this is what she's doing. So when she decided to get a job in the med device sales, like got her MBA, did whatever it took to be successful. And Nora, you are such an successful woman and a true inspiration to all of the women that have been in our lives for years. Megan, Carolyn, like all of our friends, thank you. We love that about you. But, so Nora and I used to live together, like just even a few years ago. Oh God, so much wine, so much boxed wine, so much laughing, to the point where we couldn't even brush our teeth together. Like we had to brush in shifts. Like you go, and then I'll go, because otherwise we're gonna be spitting toothpaste all over the bathroom. Just ridiculous. But when Nora told me how funny Mark was, and we got to meet Mark, I knew that she had met the one, because she loves to laugh, and as you all know, Mark is hilarious. Am I right? Yeah. And he's even come up with a cute nickname for her, No Nora, because because her initial reaction to all of his shenanigans are no, we're not doing that. But when Mark asked her to marry him, No Nora finally said yes. Cheers, yes, to many years of laughter and fun with you and your couple, the best couple, and all of our friends here. Congratulations.
My wife, what a wonderful group of friends you have. They're so supportive and so wonderful. I think we probably set a record for a destination venue for a wedding, a number of people. But my wife Kathy is right over there. So for I think I've met most of you, if not all, hopefully. But if we haven't, we'll do that in the next hour or so. But it's just great to see you all again, or to meet you for the first time. So we're so inspired by the the wonderful group of friends you have and the love that's coming from this group out here to you guys and back is just amazing. So, Mark, as I said in the vows, you're a wonderful son. You've always made us proud of you. You've always made good decisions, and probably one of the best is selecting Nora as your partner in life. We're so happy for you. There's just one story that I like to offer about Mark, and this goes back a lot of years. You were all probably about the same age. This goes back to when you were probably all about 4. Okay? So Mark was 4, just a little over 4, and Mark and Anne, his sister, have the same birthday, March 23rd, 4 years apart. So this is a little beyond that. And I apologize, but I thought in the discussion with Kathy that having just had Anne, and she's a brand new baby, we probably needed some protection from the drugstore. Okay? So, I decided one day I was going to go to the drugstore, and Mark said he would like to go along. Now, keep in mind, he's 4 years old, so this is probably April, May of 1982, okay? So I climb in the car, I strap Mark in, and he's just chatty as ever. He's talking a mile a minute and asking questions, very good at asking questions. It's several miles to the pharmacy. We get to the pharmacy, get out of the car, and I go in, and I didn't really know what I wanted. So I asked the pharmacist, and he said, well, come on over here. Well, there's a huge display, and he says, well, basically, I asked him what it was about, and he said, well, basically you have 2 versions. You have the wet version on the left and the dry version on the right. So he goes into explaining this in detail, and Mark's just like this, listening, not saying a word. So I make my selection, I check out, we get back in the car, and Mark is uncharacteristically silent. He says nothing. I said, Mark, is there something wrong? Doesn't answer. So it's 3 or 4 miles home, and finally, before we get home and turn into our driveway, Mark looks at me and he says, Dad, did you buy the wet or the dry? I'll never forget that story. So I don't remember the answer, and it doesn't matter. So I'm hopeful the kids under 15 didn't get that. So anyway, you guys are just awesome together. You really complement each other. You complete each other. I'll tell you later. I think I bought a 12-pack of each. Anyway, since he's known Nora, and especially since they decided to get married, I've seen such a huge change in Mark's personality. He's been so cheerful and joyful and loving and open. I mean, it's just, Nora, you have done so much for Mark. It's just been wonderful. So Anyway, to cut this off, I'd like to propose a toast. I have many more stories, but most aren't appropriate. Congratulations and best wishes to both of you on this very special day. We love you both, and we just love the fact that you have so many supportive friends and loving people around you. Good luck and best wishes.
Well, guys, thank you very much for sharing all of you. And guess what? Now we have the first dance. Mr. and Mrs. Musgjerd, please dance on the floor. And DJ, pop it up. This is your song. Big applause for them. Beautiful song.
So,
My last name didn't change, but I still married into the family.
now, as you know, they're all very, very different. So, we're counting on you to liven the party up a little bit more come Thanksgiving and Christmas, right?
Faith. We got faith.
More than me, yes. Nobody talked in the family before I came around, right?
Melissa kicked it off. I took the reins, and now Nora's
Nora?
got big shoes to fill.
Yep. Northfield girls. So, if anybody doesn't know, how do two Musgjerd boys from Minnetonka and Hopkins end up with two Northfield girls? As my husband says, yeah, bad luck. Mail order.
Mail order. Mail order. That's... Who said that?
Deepak. Okay, well,
We'll go with that.
all we really have to say is that we're super excited to have a third one.
We are.
And
I want to actually tell a nice little story about Nora. So I'm up here as Mark's brother-in-law, married in to his beautiful sister, one and only. And
at least it wasn't bad luck.
I just want to say, and Anne was there with us. We had recently moved into a house, and we invited Mark and Nora over. Do you know where this is going, Nora? So, the second I knew that Nora was going to be part of the family, and I said it to Anne, I'm like, that's our future sister-in-law. Right there. And that's my future brother-in-law, I said in first grade when I met Anne. Because I married Hopkins to Hopkins, whoever else went there. Woo, woo! I didn't graduate there. They didn't like me. Just saying.
Did you graduate?
Questionable. It's debatable, but we're gonna go with yes. No, but in all seriousness, Nora came over to our house with Mark, and it was amazing. I knew, because as other toasts have gone, you know, Mark looked long and hard for a long, long time. This is a toast where it's like going at, all right. But Nora just laid it out and goes, Mark actually was like, oh yeah, you know, here's Nora, here's my friend. Nora looks over and goes, Mark, I'm your girlfriend now. You best believe it. We won't be having it any other way. And at that point, I'm like, that's what Mark needed. And it's awesome. And we love you, Nora. And welcome to the family. Welcome to the next generation of in-laws. Woo! Yeah! See that? Sorry I can't be from Northfield. Peace out. I'll be here all of the next 24 hours.